Race war. Whose team are you on? Black people or white people?
Is there a race war? Did I miss it?
The secret of happiness is freedom. And the secret of freedom is courage. In other words, a democracy cannot survive without those who are willing to defend it.
Most Americans don't know about it because we have a negligent and indolent press.
All white people are racist.
And we're the best entertained and the least informed people on the face of the earth.
So I put this up because I really want any white person in the room to know up front that this is what we're dealing with, that it's not going to be this coddling of white tears and what that looks like. We're not going to discuss, oh, maybe some of us have worked it out. No, you're always going to be racist, actually. So even when you're on your path to trying to figure out how to be a better human being, because I believe that white people are born into not being human, like that actually instead of people of color and black folks being dehumanized, that actually everyone is dehumanized off rip within white supremacy, that y'all are born into a life to not be human, and that's what y'all are taught to do, to be demons. So in this particular way, white people are all racist. So I just want y'all to know that up front.
Democracy cannot survive the uninformed masses. The uninformed masses will trade, as Jefferson later said, 100 years of hard-fought civil rights for a half an hour of welfare.
I use the term minor attracted person or MAP in the title and throughout the book for multiple reasons. First of all, because I think it's important to use terminology for groups that members of that group want others to use for them.
But Jefferson said the remedy for that is not to deprive the masses of their power, but rather to forcibly inform them.
And MAP advocacy groups like Before You Act have advocated for use of the term MAP. They've advocated for it primarily because it's less stigmatizing than other terms like pedophile.
If you are uninformed, you are a threat to all of us. You are a threat to democracy. And when...
Another unit, please. Send me another unit. I'm not searching you. I'm checking you for weapons. All right, man? You don't have any warrants? I know, but you're coming up on me. You make me kind of nervous. Okay?
Those officers are not being accused of having killed Ahmaud Arbery while he was jogging. While their conduct may be questionable.
Send me another unit, please. Send me another unit.
About stopping him, one thing is quite clear: he did know his rights related to the car search.
I'm not going to your car. Back up!
Bro, don't touch me, bro. Bitch, you hit me.
Send me another unit, please. Send me another unit.
One thing is quite clear.
You can't touch
Listen.
me, bro. You can't touch
Listen.
me, bro. Don't touch my car and don't touch me.
I'm not touching your car.
Don't touch
I'm looking
me, bro.
inside of your car.
Don't touch me. You can't look inside my shit enough.
Yeah, I'm 10-4. Send me another unit.
You can't touch.
Just, very angry.
What the hell is you talking about?
I know, you're just acting
I'm
very,
not going
you're
right
jumping
over
around,
here.
getting a little bit nervous on me.
You can't go in my shit.
I'm not asking you. Just don't reach the car, man.
Get your hand out of your pocket.
Hands out of your pocket. I've checked him for weapons.
Okay.
Listen, man. I'm not here to mess with you, okay? I'm gonna get out your hair. Just want to make sure that everything was cool here. You're good to go. I'm gonna talk to my partner over here, all right? Your license is suspended. So, technically, you can't really drive the car.
You already know, Joe. Of course not. This is white privilege on steroids.
Today, there are now 5 giant multinational corporations which control all 14,000 radio stations in America, all 5,000 television stations in our country, 80% of our newspapers, all of our billboards, and most of the large internet content providers. So there are 5 guys who are deciding what we hear as news.
19 others remain missing. More than 4,000 structures have also been destroyed by California wildfires, which have been burning an area of land larger than the state of Connecticut.
Yeah, no. I mean that Ahmaud Arbery case too.
Well, am I fucking with you? Because this area is known for drug activity.
How was Ahmaud when people pushed up on him the wrong way?
Drug? How the fuck I'm drug attack when I work at Blue Beacon?
Back up.
Check my shit.
I think that's a very important story.
The picture's so pretty. I'm thinking, who is that girl?
I didn't take the picture.
Who is she?
Thank you for saving America. Reverend Sharpton, thank you for saving America.
They just decided they weren't going to let him in. He grabbed a demonstrator that was fighting him. Next thing we knew, Reverend Sharpton was accusing me of kicking a blind man. That bothered me. You realize how a lie can spread.
You want to back up?
Shit.
I was never concerned when he left the house to go running. Never crossed my mind that anything would happen to Ahmaud.
But you keep your hand in your pocket.
I ain't got shit on me. What the you with me for?
I'll tell you why I'm here, man.
Why?
I'll tell you why I'm here. Because this area is known for drug activity.
Drug? How the drug I take when I work at Blue Beacon?
Back up.
Check my shit.
Back up.
You talking about?
You want to back up?
Shit. Bitch, you hit me.
Send me
with that
another
shit,
unit,
bitch, you gonna be
please.
fucked
Send me
up.
another unit.
I was single, but I didn't deprive the children of anything. When life gets hard, you get hard with it.
I had a receipt, bro.
Where's the receipt at?
Receipt.
Stay, hey, I didn't stay seated.
I got money,
You know what?
bro.
You know what?
I'm not a bro.
I want you to lay on your stomach. Lay on your stomach.
I'm not laying
Lay on your stomach.
So which one of you guys
Lay on your stomach. You're under arrest.
I was like, that's not Ahmaud.
You can't look inside my shit enough.
Yeah, I'm 10-4. Send me another unit.
No, that can't be Ahmaud. You know, he, you know, in a million years, I would never say that he would have broken into someone's house, actually end up getting shot and killed all in the same breath. So it was something never sat right with me about it.
I probably watched the video 10, 12 times. It was so devastating because you realize that this person who was jogging, minding their own business.
Just very angry.
What the hell is you talking
I
about?
know you're just acting very. You're jumping around. Getting a little.
You provide for your government expense. Knowing and understanding your rights. If I've explained them to you, are you willing to answer any questions?
I said, look, if you're going to do what you want, I'm going to do what I want, but you're not going to like it.
Race war.
And she's like, what's that? And I start to call her dog. Well, what she didn't know is I carry dog treats.
Why is that funny?
Because I've been burning the park for 35 years, dealing with this for 35 years. So I pull out the dog treats.
I think that's worth thinking about today. After all, Amherst is a place that produces and creates informed citizens and leaders for our nation.
You will never see me fly an American flag, let's be clear.
About it. No, she's talking about my wife, because I know that exactly which one you're talking about. You're talking about my wife, right? You're talking about my wife, right?
Disgusting.
Yeah, you're talking about my wife, right? Yeah, she didn't suffer nothing. She just got them in there.
She put her foot up here.
Yeah, I know exactly what she did. Mind you, you should just mind your damn business.
I'm talking to somebody and you
I could
come
give a
over
damn.
to
You
me.
talk to my wife like that. I don't like that shit.
Talk to your wife like what?
You talk to my wife like, oh, I'm sorry, that's disgusting. Mind you ain't mind your damn business.
I said,
put my foot up there all the damn morning. You got a problem with that?
The challenges facing the United States in human rights are deep-seated.
I mean, the reason Kenneth Bridges and other black people were killed during this spree is it's a cloak. If you only kill white people, then they know something. If it's a mixture, then it's hard for them to decipher who is who and what is what and what the motive is. So it's done in order to be random.
Fear of racism has created an anti-scientific movement that has clouded the waters effectively for an entire year, during which the world has been in unprecedented territories across every domain.
Screw your freedom. So now someone is literally looking at the possibility they won't have a paycheck for a prolonged period of time. They may even lose their job ultimately. A lot of people are going to look at that and say, hold up, okay, I'll get vaccinated.
These are people with no power whatsoever who worked around sick people for the duration of a deadly pandemic. And rather than thank them, we're firing them with no unemployment benefits and no health insurance.
We just heard that YouTube is banning all vaccine misinformation videos, and I really want to thank them for that.
I get this email today saying I have something that's against community guidelines and needs to be age restricted. It's a private video, 1 second long, nothing but black. There's the sound of a blinker on a car. I might have uploaded it by mistake 6 years ago, always been private. No one has ever watched it, 0 views, but it goes against the community guidelines. And by the way, what's not age restricted?
I'm the type of grandmother that still fuck. Don't bring them ugly ass kids over my house. I'll put Grandpa Dick in their hand. Not for real, white people. That's how you get out of fucking keeping kids.
Black people were often accused of rape after consensual sex.
While we're driving around, we engage in sex. And had been doing so for months. And after these shootings, it could be particularly intense. It's kind of like a high.
When a black female NYPD transit police officer did this to me for slipping through the subway turnstile 30 years ago, almost 30 years ago, I didn't know what to think, had no idea where it came from.
Bonkers.
Chief can get him here tomorrow, can't you, Chief?
So all of these reputable doctors and scientists are being censored on YouTube in the middle of a pandemic where people should be discussing, look at what happened to me after I got the vaccination. Is this strange? Does anyone else feel this way? Protecting the rights of the individual has just been lost somewhere along the lines. But the point is,
turns out if you hurt people enough, they will do exactly what you say.
Thank you, George Floyd.
Remember, this is a public health crisis we're living through, right? So maybe we shouldn't empty the hospitals of their seasoned employees.
People arrested, half of them from out of state this season that started in early February, and more than 100 weapons have been confiscated. The city declared a state of emergency on Saturday.
The myths around black people were, sexual predators and violent was actually that black people were often accused of rape after consensual sex with a white woman.
Hours later, she was found dead. Both men were in court Monday charged with burglary, sexual battery, petty theft, and fraudulent use of a credit card.
If the police could recognize that, look, black people call the police more than any other group.
Actually bit her forehead, leaving deep wounds. She says he tried to bite her eye out. Others kicked her.
Holy shit.
Here's Harry Belafonte built the home.
Creme de la creme.
It was your typical resort town, except we were all black.
An own original film.
4 white people are coming in.
They found us.
City leaders declared a state of emergency on Saturday. All restaurants and bars now must close at 7 o'clock.
Police breaking up a weekend party that got way out of control, using pepper spray and making dozens of arrests. Similar chaotic scenes took place all over town. Police say the crush of people cramming into restaurants, bars, and city streets has become a safety hazard. There's now an 8 o'clock curfew for South Beach through mid-April.
White people to be better off. But my dad put his money where his mouth was. He'd always hire the black doctor, black accountant, the black plumber, and often he'd have something we call black regret.
Harlem, Easter Sunday. You can see here the assault was partially caught on surveillance video. The unidentified suspect appears to lunge forward, and then Thomas knocked flat on her back.
This was a place where black people could come and surf, swim, cook out. They could use the bathhouses to wash the sand off of them. And so this really was an important spot, an important place in 1912, and started Bruce's Beach, which was a resort. It was one of the only oceanfront properties that was owned by and servicing black Americans at the time. In some ways, it might feel almost frivolous to think about a fight over the beach, but
maybe they would have been the ones creating bitcoins and investing, or sort of Silicon Valley titans, because they would have been able to go to great schools or any of that stuff.
The Bruces could have been the Hiltons or the Kennedys or the Hearsts.
What an ignorant thing to say. Who would want to be the Hearsts? Honestly.
4 out of 5 Americans shopping. Let me say that again. 4 out of 5 Americans who shop for a plan will find one for $10 or less per month. Let me say that again.
Over 15, man. You know what it is. You know the price.
The white people. The white people. The white people.
New at 5, police just released photos of the woman who they say shoved another woman into a moving subway train in Times Square. Luckily for police, as you can see, she wasn't wearing a mask, so it's a pretty good look at her face.
America allowed this to happen because these idiots, these Europeans, have miseducated our people.
I don't want to say we need to go start killing all white folks, but it's like, but maybe.
In the past month alone, there have been 53 mass shootings nationwide.
You're not going to know that the police officers, and we're going to see if somebody is going to look to harm somebody through hate.
There were all these rumors that CBS was after Oprah to be on the show.
Doesn't the Queen get to do what the Queen wants to do?
If you are uninformed, you are a threat to all of us. You are a threat to democracy. And when
I want to clarify, when you say you were surprised about the skin tone conversation, were you surprised that that would be true inside the palace, or were you surprised they were telling you about it?
He was shot multiple times in the chest, in the left arm, the left leg, and we're told that there was a dispute leading up to this. We're not sure how that all came to be. That 15-year-old now fighting for his life at St. Barnabas Hospital, and police are looking for two men between the ages 15 and 20 connected to the shot multiple times in the chest.
You're supporting cast. What? The camera's focus is drawing the audience's attention to this scene's most important character. Me.
So by shifting the focus, now you're blurry and I'm sharp.
It appears so.
Guess that makes me more important than you.
No, it doesn't.
Does sinus congestion and pressure make breathing feel impossible?
But I like pain. Fuck me and ask who's this.
And racism always have existed, but I feel like right now there's just a lot of tension, and we need somebody to clean that.
The white people, the white people, the white people. Gotta put that in the script somewhere. Like, just the idea of us respecting ourselves is disrespectful to white people. If two black people killed a police officer, they would instantly become heroes. The white people, the white people, the white people. Gotta put that in the script somewhere.
I think that's a huge problem. The people who are attempting to pass policy to banish it out of the public square are simply afraid of a fair and just accounting of American history.
When you accuse my son of stealing your raggedy ass bike parts when you drive a car.
And you literally can't talk to them.
This, they gonna burn this bitch to the ground, okay?
The white people, the white people, the white people.
Simmons, along with two of his relatives, are facing robbery and gang assault charges.
The white people, the white people, the white people.
Gonzalez's actions are part of a movement in New York to decriminalize sex work.
An update now on an unprovoked brick attack in Manhattan. The victim, Lisa Kavanaugh, works at Governor Cuomo's New York City office. The 51-year-old was walking on 48th Street and 3rd Avenue on Thursday afternoon when police say a man came up from behind and hit her in the head with a brick.
Did not.
Interesting choice of hat, by the way.
Yeah. On the tape, you can hear Keon Sr. saying, do the iPhone feature. Do the iPhone, find my iPhone feature. Yeah. It would have solved it just right then and there.
Over there, what's on your background? You better go use find my iPhone. Go do that.
Find my iPhone is on.
No, you can't. No.
For white people. For white people.
Oh, I'm sorry, that's disgusting. Mind you ain't mind your damn
no,
business.
I
You put
said-
my foot up there all the damn morning. You got a problem with that?
For white people. For white people.
His family has him in therapy, and they're both still traumatized too, still reeling.
Even when I was there, my words weren't good enough.
No, you can't. No.
I'm the manager of the hotel.
I don't care.
She insisted that she's not racial profiling. She has an explanation about that. And, it was reported that an Uber driver returned the phone. She says that's not true. So she wanted to make an apology, but as I said to her in the interview, I'm not sure you're helping yourself here. Do the iPhone, find my iPhone feature.
Yeah.
It would have solved it just right then and there. And she's right, that it could have been de-escalated,
This is my phone.
Show me. No.
You don't have to explain nothing to her.
Take the case off. That's mine. Literally, get it back, please.
Are you kidding me? You feel like there's only one iPhone made in the world?
No.
Well, the point is, he didn't have her phone.
No, he did not.
And
He did not.
interesting choice of hat, by the way.
Yeah. This is why they're bullies. For all he knows, she's homeless. She didn't have a shower. Her hair is greasy, so the hat's not as bad as that. He doesn't know. And you're talking about a giant corporation bullying this girl who, there may be a prior relationship between these people that the daddy doesn't want anyone to know about.
Okay, then show me the.
No, you get a life over
there.
No,
What's on your
background? You better go use find my iPhone. Go do that. No.
I'm the manager of the hotel.
I don't care.
He will
This is
right
my
now.
son.
Hey,
Didn't you see me just come downstairs out of the fucking elevator?
I'm trying to help.
No, but you're not helping.
I
What
am.
you've been is disrespectful.
No, I'm trying.
Been is disrespectful.
No, I'm trying to settle the situation.
My son has nothing to do with her.
The video footage is pretty clear.
No, I'm trying to settle the situation.
My son has nothing to do with her.
No.
I'm trying to figure out what's going on in the world.
It's interesting you would point out the hat because
No.
I'm trying to figure out what's going on in the world.
Sharon said, you might want to remove that hat.
Yeah.
And she refused to do that too. So it was an interesting afternoon.
My son has nothing to do with her.
No.
I'm trying to figure out what's going on in the world.
His family has him in therapy, and they're both still traumatized too, still reeling from.
I'm still in shock, Gail. I'm still in shock. At this point, my son and I are still in shock at this
Are you still in
nightmare
shock?
of a scenario.
But Ben Crump represents him and was saying, they hope that the charges, it will send a message.
You're not going to know that the police officers, and we're going to see if somebody is going to look to harm somebody through hate.
So it was interesting that right after that interview, that she was stopped and then arrested.
Has died of the illness. 34-year-old Dr. Li Wenliang was threatened by the government after voicing concerns.
We understand when we're being singled out for one reason and one reason only, and that is the color of our skin.
The Chinese consulate did not respond to
331 injuries. The killer's shocking and twisted scheme to deceive police.
And a bold move by the NYPD to combat anti-Asian attacks. The department is adding what it calls a robust number of undercover officers in the city's Chinatown neighborhoods.
Asian American undercover officers will hit the streets across New York City.
The next person you target, whether it's through speech. Is that communist China?
Oh, isn't that where you're from? She's been identified as Maura Moynihan, the daughter of the late Senator Patrick Moynihan, who the new train hall at Penn Station is named after.
The family is speaking out at the site in Brooklyn where their daughter was shot and killed. Now, it happened while she attended a vigil for a friend who was killed the night before. Police are still searching for those responsible. Violence in New York City, this time at a Queens mall. The NYPD says a 37-year-old man was shot in the leg during a robbery.
I can't help but imagine Bruce's Beach in 1920 or whenever it was. I mean, this is during a pandemic, 2020, Miami Beach. Is this why Bruce's Beach got taken away? Like anything like that? Isn't it a little convenient that it's explained as a simple matter of, oh, I don't like the color of your skin? Like as if that even makes any sense, right?
You know about the Hamptons, but what about this side of the island?
Celebrities came out here. Lena Horne, Langston Hughes, Harry Belafonte built the home.
Creme de la creme. It was your typical resort town, except we were all black.
An own original film.
4 white people are coming in.
They found us.
When you drive a car.
Yeah. That's not okay.
Thank you, George Floyd.
Fear of racism has created an anti-scientific movement that has clouded the waters effectively for an entire year, during which the world has been in unprecedented territories across every domain.
Screw your freedom.
Luckily for police, as you can see, she wasn't wearing a mask, so it's a pretty good look at her face.
The white people. The white people.
See how the headline says Chevy Tahoe at the bottom? And that's a Chevy Tahoe in front of my building in 2014. But the article and the arrests were February 2018.
I got it and set up.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking to do. That's what I was thinking to do. I already taped it.
Where you have really no rights, and if they take it to court, you're going to be surprised, but I would say you'd probably lose. So I asked Pam McNair to come.
Where you going?
About to start shooting at these men. That's what I would do. That's what I would do. That's what I would do. That's what I would do.
Recording everything. I got my neighbors as proof. Let's see. Let's see, because you're crazy. We all know. So.
Max, though, said he does not want them to serve jail time.
They did not just emerge over the past 4 years, such as Black Lives Matter.
This morning, part 2 of our investigation into diversity at the FBI. 2 former agents tell us why it's so important for the FBI to have a diverse workforce.
I work as a content developer.
The FBI is committed to combating hate crime.
We develop videos, infographics, and motion graphics.
Committed to combating hate crime.
To combat extremist content.
Committed to combating hate crime.
To combat extremist content.
The FBI is committed to combating hate crime.
أنا محمد.
Seeking justice and providing assistance to victims. Victim services personnel work with special agents to offer victim support and information about available services and programs. If you've been a victim or witness to a hate crime, call 1-800-CALL-FBI or submit a tip at tips.fbi.gov. Protecting our communities. Together, report hate crimes.
Break convention and sort of put people of color in the center of a narrative, and that, you know, we are in a war that we didn't start.
Right.
And I feel like black people, when they walk out their door, they go to war every day.
Yeah.
And they have to decide, what black person do I want to show up as this morning? Do I want to be MLK?
We will be able to speed up that day when all of God's children, black men and white men.
Do I want to be MLK? Do I want to be Malcolm X?
People know you as a performer, but
shows a man walking up 3rd Avenue, suddenly shoving a 92-year-old woman. She loses her balance, falling to the ground, hitting her head on a fire hydrant.
Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics will be able to join hands and sing in the words of the old Negro spiritual. Free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, we are free at last.
She's crazy. Yeah, but yeah, she needs to be in another house. Yeah, I know. And I told her to her face she's crazy. But I told her.
What's going on? It's disgusting, and it has to end. And those who are enabling the disinformation have to stop.
Standing there, watching protesters, and he gets assaulted.
But Eyewitness News has obtained this video that appears to tell a different story.
East Fordham Road had been taken over by looters, and police moved in to clear the streets. Police sources say the officers saw Jamel trying to set a fire. He is struck with the taser, then apparently struck twice with a baton. After Mayor de Blasio met Jamel and his mother at an event last week, he ordered an investigation.
I'm very concerned.
Jamel's supporters say that's not good enough.
23-year-old Denisha Kilpatrick was walked out of a police precinct last night. When police arrived, they found the infant boy and girl dead, one of them with stab wounds.
Like much of the country, New York State is finding it difficult to attract people to become volunteer firefighters at a time they're needed more than ever.
Wendy Wright gives us an inside look at what the training recruits go through as she explores the reason behind the shortage.
This would mean that the CIA could manipulate the news in the United States by channeling it through some foreign country. And we're looking at that very carefully.
And she says, oh, my dog won't come to you. Well, what she didn't know is I carry dog treats.
Why is that funny?
As though there are these pure-hearted humanitarians who are so deeply concerned about Afghan women and girls. I'm sure they'll be leading the charge.
There's a whole generation of women and girls who are now getting their first glimpse of what life under the Taliban is like.
My thing is education for liberation. So if folks
that again?
Education for liberation.
I like that.
Yeah.
And things weren't getting done. She knew how to get to the people who could get a light bulb changed.
He doesn't get a pass because I can't stop thinking about the anguish of these women. Rita, you're very good at the lap dances.
And I think that they should continue to do something.
We hope that they will continue to speak up.
Yeah.
Good and sad, and I just want to be.
Let me be very clear. There is no excuse for this alleged behavior.
Colito!
But it is systematic and pervasive.
Yes.
I'm gonna come.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. This I know is true. Women cannot achieve equality in the workplace or in society until there is a reckoning and a taking of responsibility.
Watch the hands. He knows what he's doing.
Wow.
Yeah.
This will be investigated. This has to end. This behavior is wrong, period.
We took this quick little intimacy course, the two of us. Let me see it. Come on. And then that
point goes to
this. What do you say when someone that you deeply care about has done something that is so horrible?
A big night for women.
Yes.
And
provide support in times of need. We will preserve music and educate the next generation. We will advocate for the rights of all creators to make sure they can continue to earn a fair living making music. And we will stand up for what's right and fight for greater diversity and more equal representation. This is not a vision for tomorrow, but the job for today. Our work is important because music is important. Thank you.
This again, you said, I had fantasies of unloading a revolver into the head of any white person that got in my way, burying their body and wiping bloody hands as I walked away relatively guiltless with a bounce in my step, like I did the world an effing favor. That type of feeling, first of all, what creates that type of feeling?
Do I want to buy a gun or not? I don't want to buy a gun, you know, but you feel, oh, I might.
Oh, okay, Gloria, we're gonna have to talk about this gun thing offline.
Okay.
We are out of time.
Hate crime bills. One is called the COVID-19 Hate Crimes Act.
You're not going to know that the police officers, and we're going to see if somebody is going to look to harm somebody through hate.
So if you look closely, There's a cop holding a woman reporter by her head and kneeing her over and over again, holding her by her hair, I mean. This is exactly what Transit Police Officer Badge 3630, I think that's her badge number, Deborah C. Moore did to me late one night. It might be more difficult for you to recognize the bullshit, self-absolving, woman-loving crap, race-loving crap, take-a-side-loving crap in the media, because people do not care when the cameras are off.
So much of the narrative in the media, as regards to this withdrawal, is a total joke, and it's self-absolving for the people who had a direct role in enabling such a systemic failure.
17-year-old Farkhunda is one of them, and she joins me now from inside Kabul. Farkhunda, I'm really, really happy to speak with you and really want to hear from you. We all do. Thank you for joining us. I appreciate it.
Okay, first of all, I thank you for hearing your voice, and I'm happy to talk to you. And I'm happy to talk to you.
Self-absolving, that is a great way to put it, and absolutely true. Michael Tracy, thank you very much.
And Megan Thee Stallion was the first female rapper to win the Best New Artist award since Lauryn Hill in 1999. Big night for women.
Yes.
And now should we say it? Now make it rain if you want to. Stop there for a second and look in the corner. There's a little red.
It's happening, folks.
Fager, Rose, and former CEO Leslie Moonves have now all been forced out of CBS after allegations of misconduct. 2 outside law firms are conducting an ongoing investigation into those reports and into the overall culture here at CBS. Never expected this.
No, of course. I mean, this is a very difficult story for us to cover, and certainly for you. Big trees are falling at CBS, and I certainly applaud you, Drika, for speaking up.
What was it like when you received that text on Sunday?
Why and what, and why would you even put me in this position now? Mm-hmm. I spoke to someone here that I've been working...
Did you view it as a threat?
And it's even hard to say that today because, yes, we do receive harsh language all the time, but
it certainly sounded like a threat.
It was a threat.
Yeah.
Tonight, 2 veteran CBS executives are on administrative leave while Viacom CBS investigates allegations of racist and sexist behavior.
Do you think Peter Dunn and David Friend are racist?
I don't feel comfortable coming out and answering that.
Do you think they should be fired?
Pretty much ends the violence at that moment. But look at just how disgusting this is to watch. The looting has got...
I don't care if somebody decides to loot a Gucci or a Macy's or a Nike, because that makes sure that that person eats.
Black Lives Matter Chicago rallied in support of people who looted and are locked up at the police station at 18th and State.
That is reparation.
We just heard that YouTube is banning all vaccine misinformation videos, and I really want to thank them for that.
And the mayor is likening this commission to the Truth and Reconciliation Commission that we saw in South Africa.
Fucking white trashy bitch. That's what the fuck you are. Here we go again. You think you're the only one that got a phone for all of that? Take your phone and go fuck yourself with it. That's what you do, okay? Fixate it on your phone. That's what you do.
So what the Congressional Black Caucus is calling for now is for the FBI to set up a meeting between members of the CBC and the people that wrote the document.
Increase in reported hate crimes. A hate crime not only harms the victim, but strikes fear into their entire community.
What school officials nationwide want is for the feds to provide some level of intel that will give them some sense of what kind of threats are heading their way. Nora.
Our community. The FBI is committed to combating hate crime and seeking justice.
I am Leila. I work as a content developer.
We develop videos, infographics, and motion graphics to combat extremist content.
Of attacks since the 90s, according to data collected by an organization at West Point.
If you've been a victim or witness to a hate crime, call 1-800-CALL-FBI or submit a tip at tips.fbi.gov. Protecting our communities. Together, report hate crimes. Spend more time with your numbers.
A lot of people have called this second pandemic, this second crisis that the community's been dealing with.
Well, this bill is going to do a number of different things. As you said, it'll have a point person that will be able to focus on this. The problem has been in large part just, the issues about hate crimes has often just been number 4, 5, or 6 on a priority list, never quite was able to get the kind of attention and prioritization that it needed.
Bitch. How about that, you fucking white trash? You fucking white trashy bitch. That's what the fuck you are. Here we go again. You think you're the only one that got a phone for all of that? Take your phone and go fuck yourself with it. That's what you do, okay? Fixate on your phone. That's what you do.
But this bill also does other aspects where it's going to increase the ability for us to set up reporting structures, set up hotlines around the country.
That strikes fear into their entire community, our community. The FBI is committed to combating hate crime and seeking justice. If you've been a victim or witness to a hate crime, call 1-800-CALL-FBI or submit a tip at tips.fbi.gov. Protecting our communities. Together, report hate crimes.
Allow us to have proper training of law enforcement around this country and elsewhere.
How are you going to respond to people who just say, this is sour grapes? If they think this is sour grapes, then they don't understand what's going on. Because if we don't look like the community we serve, how can that community trust us?
All while Shorts claims authorities stood idly by.
She took it as 3 Port Authority personnel came across the street because I was screaming my head off.
New surveillance video this afternoon as police continue to look for the suspect in that hammer attack in the subway last night in Chelsea. The victim is being treated for a head injury.
And she was not apprehended. She walked away.
Fast forward 3 weeks to this Tuesday morning. Police arrested a woman around the corner who they saw wielding a hammer and banging it against a light pole on the street.
You would think that it's safe. I mean, there's so many people there.
A Port Authority police spokesman tells us they're not aware of the incident and have no information on it.
You fucking white trashy bitch. Take your phone and go fuck yourself with it. That's what you do, okay? Fixate on. That's what the fuck you are. Here we go again. You think you're the only one that got a phone for all of that?
We understand when we're being singled out for one reason and one reason only, and that is the color of our skin.
Becker bowed for a tough course. Matsuyama later said this win will open up a lot of doors for people that look just like him.
He did not say that.
This morning's eye opener is
presented by
for us to be able to explain and show and familiarize people with the kind of challenges that the Asian American community is facing. And this is more broad as well. It kind of gets at hate crimes writ large. So this bill is going to do a number of things that will help build the infrastructure for response.
This matters. Get yours inside now.
Hello?
When the threat is domestic, you run into constitutional issues because a group may be saying things that are poisonous, but they are protected perhaps by the First Amendment. How does law enforcement navigate that very difficult terrain?
Because nobody can account for this. I mean, in my opinion, just to cut to the chase, I don't believe black identity extremists exists. And I believe that the FBI should retract the document and should send out a document throughout law enforcement saying that black identity extremists do not exist.
He can barely walk.
You dirty, cold white bitch. Now how you like that?
A complete investigation of the matter has been conducted and reviewed by the Transit Police Civilian Complaint Review Board. There's a catchy name.
Just before noon on Sunday, police say 41-year-old Stephen Nicholas Broderick shot and killed 2 women and a man.
What they really need to be concerned about is white identity extremists. The document, and should send out a document throughout law enforcement saying that black identity extremists do not exist.
By the Transit Police Civilian Complaint Review Board.
Honey!
What they really need to be concerned about is white identity extremists.
Charged with burglary, sexual battery, petty theft, and fraudulent use of a credit card.
The myths around black people were, sexual predators and violent was actually that black people were often accused of rape after consensual sex with a white woman.
Police searching for a man who fired 2 rounds into a Jackson Heights apartment. It all follows a violent weekend which saw 13 shootings involving 20 victims. Mayor de Blasio and public advocate Jumaane Williams have now announced a pilot program to pair mentors with youth at risk for gun violence.
Teens on East 86th Street. The firefighter suffered a concussion and broken teeth. Police are still looking for the other 5 kids.
Max, though, said he does not want them to serve jail time.
Hand behind my head, and he slammed me down into a ditch.
The suspect, 46-year-old Albert Boki, was charged with misdemeanor assault.
Deshaun Carver was shot in the chest, took himself to St. Barnabas Hospital where he was later pronounced dead.
But that seemed to mystify them.
Where their daughter was shot and killed. Now, it happened while she attended a vigil for a friend who was killed the night before.
I mean, why do I need to prove my anti-racist bona fides? It seems wrong.
It's someone else's turn to eat.
I don't want to say we need to go start killing all white folks, but it's like, but maybe.
In the past month alone, there have been 53 mass shootings nationwide, and that's defined as incidents where 4 or more people were shot. That number includes those high-profile massacres at 3 Asian spas in Atlanta and at a supermarket in Boulder, Colorado.
City, the next person you target, whether it's through speech.
Is that communist China?
Oh, isn't that where you're from?
She's been identified as Maura Moynihan, the daughter of the late Senator Patrick Moynihan, who the new train hall at Penn Station is named after.
So notice how they're now targeting the name of the train station as if they want protests there. And they're comparing, saying go back to communist China with someone getting beaten up in the subway.
While incidents ranging from slurs to violence gain more attention, it only begins to capture the full reality Asian communities have endured, especially during the last year, as a majority of incidents.
Menacing activity or anything else? Walking along a sidewalk or on a train platform? Maybe a plainclothes New York City police officer.
2 new detectives joining the NYPD's Asian Hate Crimes Task Force, bringing the total to 18.
We speak the language. We try to make the victim comfortable to tell us the full story.
You can now email investigators directly.
Today to word that a decorated NYPD officer sworn to protect and serve New Yorkers has been accused of being a spy for the Chinese government.
The criminal complaint reads like something out of a movie. Authorities say that 33-year-old suspect was an officer here with the NYPD at the 111th precinct in Bayside for 5 years and had been tracked for 3 of them. This morning, Bamadiji Angwang is facing charges for allegedly giving the Chinese government information on ethnic Tibetans in New York. Now, the 33-year-old is an ethnic Tibetan native of China.
Prosecutors say he also offered to tell Chinese officials about internal NYPD workings. The Chinese consulate did not respond to several requests for comment. And Guang's arrest raises serious concerns about China's attempts to penetrate U.S. security.
Every computer check, every NCIC name trace he ran.
11 driving with family members in Georgia. A $10,000 reward is being offered for information leading to his arrest.
The man charged is being held as a reason for his release. He'll
likely to be under electronic monitoring and confined to his home.
And that's all they say about it. Wow.
At one point, most of the new emojis are dedicated to different skin tones. For the couple with the heart emoji and the kiss emoji, those updates could hit your phone as early as January. They said they're working on skin tones to reflect interracial couples. They haven't done that before, so I think that's a really great idea.
Concerns and conversations about how dark his skin might be when he's born.
What?
Please. Nobody said that.
What?
You are going to focus on the looting, which, by the way, white people are looting too. We need to see those images. I'm sick of just seeing black people walking around looting. White people are looting too.
If only Gail was seeing violent act after violent, gun incident after violent, every single time in the news, a half a dozen times every day. Every single day. 95% of the time black. If only she was sick of seeing that enough to talk about it. What are we supposed to pretend you don't notice?
And things weren't getting done. She knew how to get to the people who could get a light bulb changed.
Where their daughter was shot and killed. Now, it happened while she attended a vigil for a friend who was killed the night before.
Horrendous violent crime after violent crime.
The woman caught on camera physically attacking a black teenager and falsely accusing him of stealing her cell phone.
But when they get a white woman who's obviously penniless and her phone is her life and she has nothing and freaks out, a father who couldn't just say, no, look at the home screen. Does that look like your phone? Get lost, bitch. He had to hide it from her because he saw how emotionally distraught she was, and he exploited that for his own little CBS Grammy-dom. And Gayle King was absolutely thrilled to run with it. I think she got 8 million hits. And honestly, because the chick looked like Haley Seinfeld.
Has been arrested in California. It happened last night just because this woman, who appeared to be a white woman, she's now saying she's Puerto Rican.
Late on CBS this morning, Gayle talks to the white woman.
I'm a woman. I'm Puerto Rican. I'm like a woman of color.
Let me be clear. Gayle King had NYPD fly across the country when she went to interview her and inadvertently ended up having her arrested, brought all the way back to New York. I mean, think of the cost in at least 2 officers, if not 4. An entire news crew, all of these people flying, putting this girl through things when she's obviously struggling. That's how Gayle King and Oprah indirectly take a bite out of crime. Okay.
Well, she said she didn't understand why it's a crime. Well, she might learn now.
Yeah. That's not okay.
There were all these rumors that CBS was after Oprah to be on the show.
Andy, you know that's not true.
Right.
Give black people their rights, or we will burn this country to ashes.
There's also even a press conference, Jamie, later today where they're calling for charges of assault and battery of the family.
Promote it, Jerica.
So far, they started a petition. They're looking for
more protests in the city are expected today. A counter protest is expected to gather around the same time.
The U.S. has lost its way.
How can you walk up to a little boy point blank and put a gun to his head and just shoot him? How can anyone do that?
He's charged with the murder of 5-year-old Cannon Hinnant.
I don't want to say we need to go start killing all white folks, but it's like,
but
maybe.
Thank you, George Floyd.
You know, it was reported that an Uber driver returned the phone. She says that's not true. So she's.
The point is, he didn't have her phone.
No, he did not.
And?
He did not.
Interesting choice of hat, by the way.
Yeah. And at the time, you know, I said, have NYPD been in touch with you? They had not. So it was interesting that right after that interview, that she was stopped, and then
arrested.
Well, she said she didn't understand
After
why
10
it's a
o'clock.
crime. Well, she might learn now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not okay.
Violence in New York City, this time at a Queens mall. The NYPD says a 37-year-old man was shot in the leg during a robbery.
Yeah. That's not okay.
America allowed this to happen because these idiots, these Europeans, have miseducated our people.
The U.S. has lost its way.
Thank you, George Floyd.
America allowed this to happen.
If 2 black people killed a police officer, they would instantly become heroes.
Yeah.
White people. White people. Gotta put that in the script.
I think that's a huge problem. The people who are attempting to pass policy to banish it out of the public square are simply afraid of a fair and just accounting of American history.
When you accuse my son of stealing your raggedy ass bike parts when you drive a car.
And you literally can't talk to them.
Gonzalez's actions are part of a movement in New York to decriminalize sex work.
An update now on an unprovoked brick attack in Manhattan. The victim, Lisa Kavanaugh, works at Governor Cuomo's New York City office. The 51-year-old was walking on 48th Street and 3rd Avenue on Thursday afternoon when police say a man came up from behind and hit her in the head with a brick.
He did not.
Interesting choice of hat, by the way.
Yeah.
Come up for that all the damn month. You got a problem with that?
His family has him in therapy, and they're both still traumatized too, still reeling from.
I'm still in shock, Gail. I'm still in shock. At this point, my son and I are still in shock at this nightmare of a scenario.
Ben Crump represents him and was saying, they hope that the charges, it will send a message.
You're not going to know that the police officers, and we're going to see if somebody is going to look to harm somebody through hate.
So it was interesting that right after that interview, that she was stopped and then arrested. We'll send a message.
You're not going to know that the police officers, and we're going to see if somebody is going to look to harm somebody through hate.
Killer's shocking and twisted scheme to deceive police.
And a bold move by the NYPD to combat anti-Asian attacks.
The next person you target, whether it's through speech. Is that communist China?
Oh, isn't that where you're from?
She's been identified as Maura Moynihan, the daughter of the late Senator Patrick Moynihan, who the new train hall at Penn Station is named after.
The family is speaking out at the site in Brooklyn where their daughter was shot and killed. Now, it happened while she attended a vigil for a friend who was killed the night before. Police are still searching for those responsible. Violence in New York City.
Is this why Bruce's beach got taken away? Like anything like that? Isn't it a little convenient that it's explained as a simple matter of, oh, I don't like the color of your skin? Like as if that even makes any sense, right?
You know about the Hamptons, but what about this side of the island?
Celebrities came out here. Lena Horne, Langston Hughes, Harry Belafonte built the home.
Creme de la creme.
It was your typical resort town, except we were all black.
An own original film.
4 white people are coming in.
They found us.
Thank you, George Floyd.
The video footage is pretty clear.
Sharon said, you might want to remove that hat.
Yeah.
And she refused to do that too. So it was an interesting afternoon.
I'm still in shock, Gail. I'm still in shock.
They hope that the charges, it will send a message.
You're not going to know that the police officers, and we're going to see if somebody is going to look to harm somebody through hate.
Has died of the illness. 34-year-old Dr. Li Wenliang was threatened by the government after voicing concern.
Whether it's through speech. Is that communist China?
Oh, isn't that where you're from?
She's been identified as Maura Moynihan, the daughter of the late Senator Patrick Moynihan, who the new train hall at Penn Station is named after.
The family is speaking out at the site in Brooklyn where their daughter was shot and killed. Now, it happened while she attended a vigil for a friend who was killed the night before. Police are still searching.